RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, guys, what's going on? This is Tara Devlin. This is unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity, and everything else that makes this world good. On the right side of things. Correct, I should say. Correct. It does suck to be right. That's another story. And yeah, we meet here whenever we can. So become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin to help the liberal media keep going and growing. And maybe one day we'll have a daily show at a set time. That's the goal. We have a time on Saturdays. We get together regularly. The show is also on Progressive Voices. But during the week, we do shows whenever we can. I'm going to try to do as many as possible because that's how we're going to win. We have to get the word out about the what we're up against because we really don't have we don't have the media. We don't have the corporate media, of course. And for as much as the Republicans whine and cry and they're a bunch of liars. There is no liberal media. The media has never been liberal. The problem that Republicans have with the media is that it has a liberal bias, so to speak, because truth, reality has a liberal bias. So just reporting the truth gets on Republican nerves, as you see. Now, what we're up against, the big lie is metastasizing, it's growing, and it's not slowing down. So where do we go from here? How do you have a functioning any country if you have two sides that are heading in different directions? The Republicans are heading towards the system that the founders rebelled against, and that is one where the rich run and own everything and everybody else knows their place. The Democrats have their I'm not saying Democrats are perfect. The problem is we have a system that's been corrupted by money, and it's been the conservative justices on the Supreme Court who were put there illegitimately by illegitimate, less vote-getting presidents who were installed by the Supreme Court. In the case of George W. Bush, in the case of Twitler, he had no mandate, and the only reason he was able to put anybody on the court was because of Mitch McConnell's filthy fascist dirty tricks. So it's an illegitimate court. They follow the path of any authoritarian takeover. The corruption of the judiciary is on the checklist, and that's what they've done. It's all because they don't like democracy, ultimately. It's conservatism in a nutshell. It's fundamentally undemocratic ideology. Even the Republican base, they don't like democracy. They only want democracy up to a point. If they're the ones who are participating, everybody else, shut up, know your place, get in your place, shut your mouth, and this is what we're up against. So I just wanted to get together. I'm going to do as many shows as possible. I see the chat room is people are starting to show up, and thank you, Richard W., right out of the gate for your super chat. Another great show, Tara. Thank you, Richard. We've only just begun. And I see you, Slow Tree. Nice to see ya. Nice to see ya. And then I see, where's this? Jesus Chrysler. That's a good name. Lefties need to take their party back, the Republican Party, and defeat the DNC finally. Yes, that might be on the agenda. That's a part of the plan. The problem is money in politics. This is what we have to advocate to get money out. Now you have a handful of politicians and representatives that aren't taking any corporate money. They're setting the standard. thankfully. The others, they're less altruistic, like the Joe Manchins of the world. He's clearly he's an old school in the pocket of corporate, the same corporate interests that have their boot on our neck. They have the knee on the neck of democracy. These corporate scums, and they don't give a crap. As we see with Toyota, they don't care whether who's overthrowing democracy or not, because they like fascism. Corporations love fascism. We can go back in the history of Nazi Germany. Corporations, they found common cause with the Nazis. Hey, they love slave labor. No unions, wonderful. But this is, that's the corporate way. Keep everybody in line. Nobody acts up. Nobody gets uppity. And all the profits go to the 1%, and everybody else gets their scraps, and they don't complain because they're, on pain of death, frankly. So this is what we're up against, and that's why having a true liberal media is one of the ingredients to taking our country. I don't know. Take it back. Is that appropriate? We're not taking it back. We want it to finally fulfill its promises. It has so much potential. The founding documents, the promises in those founding documents, we have potential to, as long as we can make it work for all. But you see what happens with the Republicans. The closer we get to making a more perfect union, to including everyone at the table, that's when they behave like the way they behave, right up until up to and including the big lie. It will not stop. We will not talk them out of it. They're not gonna wake up one day like three ghosts visit them in the night, and then they wake up and exclaim how much I love democracy all of a sudden. That's not gonna happen. They're gonna keep doing what they're doing, which is, it's not even a slow motion coup anymore. They are in the middle of a coup. What are we gonna do about it? To my eternal frustration, dealing with the Democrats, it's enough to make me want to crawl into the fetal position and cry, because many of the Democrats, I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but they don't really seem to be that alarmed as I am, and others, and you guys, about what we're dealing with. They're constantly pining for these Republicans, trying to convince them to finally play nice, but it's not working. In my opinion, Joe Biden needs to he's not going to do this, but take the argument to the American people and unapologetically leave these insurrectionists, leave the sedition caucus in the dust. The sedition caucus themselves, they're not going to do anything about their own behavior. That's clear. So, as usual, liberals, progressives, normal people, we must continue to evolve without them. And but I mean, it's a little hard to just evolve when they're actively working against the government, excuse me, and the country in general. So anyway, yesterday was the 4th of July. Hold on a second. I got a frog in my throat. I need to take a drink. I'm sorry if that's gross. Thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Nice. And thank you, Slow Tree, for your super chat in euros. But now I'm just following you, Richard W. Slow Tree says. Okay. Excuse me. Let me play something here. Oh, I saw this. Here, this is really alarming. This was on CNN. let's just get a little bit of a backgrounder of what we're up against with these Republican representatives. This isn't just the average Joe morons, even though they are morons too.
Meant for unity and celebration, but we have to face the truth that America is certainly divided this 4th of July. What should unite us only seems to further divide us, and the line between fact and fiction gets blurrier by the day. The Capitol insurrection, who incited it, who is responsible for it, is a perfect example. The truth is, a violent mob tried to overthrow democracy on behalf of a former president and his lies, and there's no shortage of people who still refuse to believe that. Here's a case in point. Down at the border last week, I asked Donald Trump if he would ever apologize for January 6th.
Watch this. Oh, wait, hold on. Music. Hold on a second. Be right back. We're not going anywhere. That's just my own. I'll lower that a little bit. It's just so I keep track, because the show will be 2 hours today. I keep saying that, right? It'll be in the ballpark of 2 hours. That's just to keep me on track. All right, so Jim Acosta at the border, where the Republicans are sowing their propaganda. That's basically it. They need to go down to the border so they can point, so they could hang out with insurrectionists and point, and pretend that the border is all of a sudden the worse than anybody's ever seen, even though it's been the same for generations, really. It's a cycle that we've been having to deal with. So, but that doesn't, you notice Republican outrage only gets triggered when a Democrat is in office, and it speaks to their just utter, absolute disingenuousness. They have no interest in a functioning government. Okay? All of that talk we've endured for generations, going back for as long as I can remember, where Republicans go on about government is the problem, so much so then the Democrats jump on that friggin' bandwagon like Bill Clinton. I hope those days are over, because government is what the founders fought a revolution to create. It's not they fought a revolution so we can all have eagles on our T-shirts. They fought a revolution to create a government of, by, and for the people that promotes the general welfare over the welfare of the 1%, or the intergenerational monarchy and aristocracy. An aristocracy that the Republicans are actively rebuilding through when they were in power. That's what they did. Lowering these state tax. What else? Well, just the GOP tax scam, adding more money to this deficit. More debt to this deficit that they supposedly care so much about. They only care about it if people are getting fed and people aren't living on the streets desperate for crumbs. This is the oldest game in modern human history, really. All right, so Jim Acosta goes to the border, and here we go.
As for January 6th.
Trump, will you apologize about January 6th?
Oh, you hear that? Mr. Trump, will you apologize about January 6th or for January 6th? And they all start moaning and groaning. What are you groaning about, traitors? I thought you were patriots. I thought you cared about the country. You groaning, moaning traitors. That's what they are. They're traitors. Let's call them out. Oh, but it gets worse. That's just the dumbass crowd moaning. The useless idiots. Excuse me, I almost said useful. They're not useful idiots. They're useless. So, here's some more pointing. That's just the crowd. Then it continues.
It may or may not surprise you that those were GOP members booing along with their staffers. But before all that booing, I asked some of them why they still associate with Donald Trump after he incited that violent insurrection. One of those congressmen, North Carolina's Madison Cawthorn, told me he still believes the election was stolen.
You believe this?
Of course, it wasn't. But listen to how some of these Republican lawmakers still consider Trump the leader of their party. What are your thoughts on associating yourself with the former president after he gave that speech on January 6th and provoked an insurrection at the Capitol? Why associate yourself with him?
Well, I think, Jim, you and I both know that I completely disagree with that assertion. The complete premise of that question is that he invoked an insurrection. I don't believe that's what happened whatsoever. I think he spoke at a rally. I think what happened on January 6th was despicable.
The
and
lie.
people should be prosecuted that broke the law. But I genuinely don't believe that there was any kind of provocation from anybody who spoke that day.
Yeah,
But
it
he
just
had been
happened.
telling
It was
the big-
out of osmosis. Everyone just stormed the Capitol. Nothing that he said for years before, because he started to sow the seeds of this in 2016 before he squatted in the White House despite receiving fewer votes. He already said, I will accept the results if I win, period. So, he's a con man. And all of these representatives, they're committing malpractice. And there needs to be consequences. There should be consequences for people who spread the big lie. People who pretend to be representing the people or their constituents, and they're spreading the big lie. And it's not a matter of belief, booby. It's a matter of fact. Oh, I believe that there was fraud. This ain't your religion, booby. There wasn't fraud. We know it. How many investigations or courts have to throw you out with prejudice? Oh, the whole world's corrupt except them. That's what we're supposed to believe. The whole world is corrupt after the saints who walk among us. We can't help it. They're so good that we have to turn all of the mechanisms of government against them to stop them from making this country amazing by turning it into a disparate crap hole for the rich, of course. It's always being picked on, these fascists, aren't they? Everybody else, they're just so victimized by everyone. All they're trying to do is, make America great again, whatever that means. And hey, if that was the case, we'd all be for it. But the lies. This goes to show you what we're up against. They don't have an interest in whatever Joe Biden wants to do. Oh, come on, this isn't America, a red state or a blue state. There's only the United States. How much longer do we have to endure that platitude? Friggin' Pollyanna BS, while these Republicans spread the big lie with utter and utmost sincerity. Just lying and lying and lying and lying. And it doesn't matter how many times you say, no, you're a liar. There's no proof. Here's your over 60 court cases where you were thrown out. Show us the fake votes. Show us anybody who voted illegitimately. Put them in. We have had instances where people vote by accident, and then there's other people who vote fraudulently, and you can count them on one hand, and they're Republicans. That we found. One guy voted for Trump with his dead mother's ballot. This is what they do, and then it's it's a epidemic of fraud, supposedly. Well, that just means that the right, and I mean by right, I mean white person didn't win. I mean, well, Biden is white, of course, but their real we know what the real problem is here. They don't like people with darker pigment sharing the same civilization. They need them in their place. It's the same old game, meaning below, in your place, behind them. So this guy here, this milk toast, white bread, pasty faced, generic looking man. Oh yeah, so I believe that there was fraud. I believe the election was stolen. Well, you could believe in Santa Claus too, but trust me, nobody's coming down your chimney on Christmas or Christmas Eve.
I genuinely don't believe that there was any kind of provocation from anybody who spoke that day.
But
because you're a fascist and don't believe your lying eyes. That's fascism right there. Don't believe your lying eyes. Nobody provoked it. Everybody just all of a sudden decided to storm the Capitol screaming, Trump, 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 Trump. I'm here on orders of Trump. We have the video where they said, we're here because of the president, on invitation of the so-called president. Jesus Christ.
And he continues to lie about the election. Why continue to associate? Why not find another standard bearer for the party?
Well,
maybe
Jim,
you could be a standard bearer for the party down the road.
You know what? I do look forward to being the future of the Republican Party, but I will tell you, I think Donald Trump is leading the way on that. And, I think you and I know that we have a complete disagreement. I do believe the election was stolen.
Can you believe this?
You still
You
believe the election?
believe it.
I still believe the
Where's the
election was
proof of that?
Well, you know what? I think there was plenty of proof. If you look through Wisconsin, if you look through a lot of the states that I personally contested to.
But it was all rejected by the courts, including Trump-appointed judges and the Supreme Court.
I believe the judicial system failed us.
And let me ask you, why continue to...
Just like in fascism and any Nazi takeover, any authoritarian takeover, it only works if it works in your favor. Then it's corrupt. See? Fake news, fake news, fake news. Truth has a liberal bias. That's why these fascists, well, that's why it's important what we're doing here, doing a show, trying to reach people, get the word out, the real word, the truth. Because truth has a liberal bias. They hate the truth. That's their problem. Unless, if you don't lie for them, then, that's the liberal media? It's not liberal. It's just reality. It's just life. Reality has a liberal bias. And what? They are, what am I trying to say? Trust me, guys. This whole thing, this isn't going to age well. They will lose. All fascists end in a horribly. And either, here's the choices. Either we crush them legally and peacefully now and put them down legally and peacefully, or they will drag us down with them. And then there will be another progressive revolution from that. But we don't want to have to go through what Germany went through. You see what I mean? Because if they end up dragging this country into their apocalypse, it's done. It never ends well. Show me any authoritarian takeover in history. Show me where it ends well. For everybody's happy. It usually ends in pain, death, Well, all of the thing agreed. It might work well for a while. I mean, if you're not in a targeted group, fascism, has its perks for those in the majority. But everybody else, not so much. But here, Jim Acosta talks to other Republican legislators.
Associate yourself with the former president after he lied about the election. There was an insurrection on January 6th. Why continue to associate yourself with former President Trump when you can find other Republican leaders to come down to the border with?
President Trump was the most effective president of my lifetime, and what we're here today to talk about is a corner.
You want to talk about gaslighting? The most effective. Guys, it's so baffling to me. I don't understand. How are people so dumb? How? It's shocking. These are grown-ass people. Why are they so stupid? Where'd they go wrong? Are you that stupid? It's so bizarre to me. I don't understand. Really, this is a documented con man. Documented. A horrible human being. A documented horrible human being. I can't even... Everything about him is disgusting. And there's a long history of documented history of being a con man who is a scummy person, a terrible person who goes after people who can't fight back. Just a terrible, horrible person. And they praise him. He's the best thing I've seen in our lifetime or whatever. I don't understand it. What the hell? It makes you believe that, of course, yeah, this is a cult. This is how a nation can fall to fascism. It's sort of like in Nazi Germany. The thing about Nazi Germany, Hitler never received a majority of votes or support. It was all, it was described by one historian as a mile long and an inch deep. That was Hitler's support. But it mirrors what we're dealing with now. These people, they are the minority. Like the Republicans in general, they represent fewer people. They receive fewer votes. They have a minority ideology that the minority wants, but the majority rejects. They do not have a mandate. They never do. They never did. But I guess it reminds me of when Dick Cheney, when they asked him about, he's a war criminal, and how going to invade, when this country invaded Iraq, and when it had nothing to do with 9/11, and they said, somebody asked, so one of the reporters in an interview asked, the majority of Americans are against this war. And what did Dick Cheney say? So. Right? So. That's the con way. That's the fascist way. Just like the build up to World War II. Hitler all along pretended to be a peacemaker. And that's the Republicans. But in this case, Twitler, he showed all his cards from the beginning, and they still, it's like as if they're in some kind of hypnosis. He outright said that he is a liar, that he will not accept the vote if he loses. And thank God he did. And they jump on this bandwagon and echo the big lie as if it's real. They know it's It's bullshit. I believe this election was stolen. You could believe anything. You could believe the earth is flat. That don't make it so, booby. Let's keep going.
One of his legacy. His policies
His
secure
legacy.
the border. The Biden policies have opened the border.
The legacy of 600,000 dead. A pandemic raging out of control. Divisiveness in regards to fighting this pandemic. That's his. That's all theirs. That's the legacy. You like mass graves. I never thought I would see in this country mass graves. That's how you know something's gone horribly wrong. When you need to dig mass graves. And these goddamn cultists, these bizarre cultists, are praising this unbelievable ineptitude, deadly ineptitude. What are they praising this for? I don't know. Somebody needs to just smack them all across the face, legally and peacefully. Say, wake up. What? Are you kidding me? Is there hope to get these people, get their heads out of this con man's taint so they can perhaps breathe some air? But no, there's no hope. I'm answering my own question. There's no hope. All of them, every single one of them, are on board with the con. Even we played the clip of Mike Pence. He's the one that they were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." They erected a gallows. These traitors. They would have hanged him. There's no doubt in my mind. Somebody, if they had encountered one of the representatives, any of them, that person would have been murdered. They would have murdered Nancy Pelosi. There is no doubt in my mind. They would have murdered Mike Pence. And what would they... even if that happened, these cultists, these horrible anti-American, unpatriotic traitors would still support the dumb Fuhrer. Jesus Christ. Right. Play Dave says on the chat, actually, Tara, we really should be doubling that 600,000 number. That's right. See that there are so many states that are withholding the numbers of death. That's right. Oh, God. Let's keep going with this guy.
Wide open, creating a humanitarian crisis unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Right.
So I'm
like
chairman
nobody's
of the Republican
ever
Study Committee,
seen.
the largest
They even
conservative
talk
caucus
like
on
them.
Capitol Hill. We embrace the Trump agenda, especially on border security.
Do you see him as the leader of the party right now? Do you see him as the leader of your party?
He is a leader of the party. I like to think that I'm a leader in our party. There are many leaders in our party, but the Republican Study Committee, we're focused on policy. The Trump policies worked, and especially
What
when
policy?
it's related to the border.
What about
we
when you
embrace,
say Trump policies on the border? What about the family separation policy? Should that come back?
Well, what you're seeing, the policies specifically that the Biden administration have implemented, and the Trump policies they've repealed, have created a humanitarian
Bullshit.
crisis unlike anything we've seen before. There's no other way
Just
to
keep
put
saying
it.
it. Like nobody's ever seen. Like nobody's ever seen. Like nobody's ever seen. It's the same cycle we've been enduring for generations at the border. Obviously, it's too much work for the Republicans, but we helped create that humanitarian crisis. So, you have to fix or help fix this situation that would cause people to pick up and take a 2,000-mile stroll across the desert. Nobody does that unless what they're fleeing is far more dangerous. But we did that. We helped create those failed states because of there was too much of by and for the people breaking out. And, of course, the corporations couldn't have that. They couldn't stand that. Couldn't stand for that. That's what we did. And into the vacuum, after we busted everything up and overthrew democratically elected leaders, the cartels took over, and this is where we are. So we have a moral obligation, if not a practical one, to help rectify the problems that we helped create. But, of course, the Republicans, they're not interested in rectifying any problems at all. They like those problems. It helps. The more problems, the better. The more divisiveness, the better. Especially at the border, because that will tickle all those racist funny bones. And, hey, that fits the fascist bill. Like nobody's ever seen. He created a humanitarian crisis like nobody's ever seen. Joe Biden's been in office for 6 months. Give me a effing break.
Other way to put it.
Wait, oops, I hit the pause.
There are substantially more families separated, children separated from their parents crossing the border today than there ever were on Donald Trump's watch.
You don't think it's inappropriate to be here?
When you ask a question, just lie. Just say, well, there are more people being separated now, blah, 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 and then turn your back. It's just absolutely fraudulent. But it doesn't matter, because reality has a liberal bias, and fascism doesn't care about truth. It's the ends justify... Well, the means justify the ends. Or I guess I could have said it the other way, too. The ends justify the means.
His role in January 6th, given how he lied so much about the election, I've known you a long time. You've served in Congress a long time. That doesn't bother you?
You know, we could always ask questions like, should anybody be with Bill Clinton after the things he did?
Oh, what about? Should anybody be with... That's what we should ask? Bill Clinton? Should they support Bill Clinton after what he did? What, after he got a blowjob? Legally and peacefully? Excuse me? YouTube? After a consenting adult... had a fling with him? Should people support him? Or the other one, on one hand, then you have an insurrection. What about? Right out of the Nazi playbook. Right out of Putin's playbook. These people are... It's them. You see, if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's a friggin' duck. And these, when they're using the same tactics of Nazis and the same tactics of every authoritarian, what are they? They're not freedom-loving, democracy-loving patriots, that's for sure. They're not. They're the domestic enemies the founders warned us about. It sucks, I know. Who wants to deal with it? It's bad enough having to deal with an average Republican. But this is... It's not... I mean, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, but yeah, they're the domestic enemies the founders warned us about. They're lying about the election. They're rigging the game. They are shoving unqualified lickspittles onto the court. Just so when they get to the point when they're finally could put the nail in the coffin of democracy and we go to court to try and stop it, what happens? You get the Amy Coney Barrett basic B. You get the I like beer Kavanaugh. You got the man without honor Neil Gorsuch standing in the way, just like what they did, overturning the Voting Rights Act. That's what they did. We fought, bled, and died for generations for that step, one step closer to a more perfect union. And the Republicans, these illegitimate Supreme Court flunkies, just overturn it. They have no business. So every other Supreme Court that came before them were wrong. And all the politicians and every president that reauthorized it, which is so ridiculous, why it had to be reauthorized. You understand? We've never finished the job of Reconstruction. We've never even finished the job of the founding of this country. We're still trying, and the Republicans don't want anything to do with it. They would much prefer to have an intergenerational aristocracy lording and running everything and sucking up all of the wealth, while the rest of us toil thanklessly, don't pester our betters, and we will get our rewards in heaven. Because the Republicans got the earthly rewards all locked up. This is a crime. We're watching a crime unfold. This is outrageous. And there's no consequences for this. So in one breath, we'll see these Republicans and we'll hear them spread the big lie. And then the other breath, the next story on CNN will be something about how we got to find bipartisanship with the traitors, with the same traitors who just told you that they don't believe in reality. And even if they did, they don't care. They just indicated and showed us, they illustrated how much how every line they're willing to cross, what they're willing to do to overthrow this government. The government of the friggin' people. The people voted. And we put Joe Biden in office. And they don't like it. They just don't like it. They want power and control. Because they're not that exceptional. You understand? That's what it's about. They need money and power and all that. And they suck. So they understand that they need all those advantages. If all things are equal, we'll realize how inadequate they are. That's what they fear. They need to be able to rig the game and suck on the government teat. That's what they do. All right.
And lying and covering up. I think
it's the same
reason
thing.
we're here.
Lying and covering up. Bill Clinton's BJ in the Oval Office is the same thing as an insurrection. I see. What about?
Is Governor Abbott is showing leadership, and governors all over the country are rallying with Governor Abbott to recognize that there is an invasion.
Oh my God. Yes, they're rallying. Billionaires are sending private armies. It's, but we were treated to so many patriotic gifts on July 4th. It's enough to make you want to pluck out your eyes. There were so many stars flying at you, so many flags waving on loop. It's but unbelievable. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to find it. Where is it? Just trying to find some of these traitors' tweets. Damn it. I have everything settled. Oh, and look who it is. Look who's coming for a visit. Get up here. Yay! Tara Jr., everybody. Wait a minute. Let me get rid of this. Hello, Junior. Look over here. Say hello. He's a good boy. He's good. He's going to the vet tomorrow because he's got an allergy. Oh boy, what was that? Something just fell. Oh, everybody, why can't you all behave when I'm on the air? Damn it. All right, where is it? I'm sorry, guys. But you know how it is. This is how the show goes. That's why it's a perfect time to go become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Why am I talking like this? Probably because I was on the Mike Malloy show earlier with Robyn Kincaid was filling in. It's probably and it's on right now, actually. So if you have... I urge you to become a subscriber of Mike Malloy's podcast. But I was on that. I was on the show, Mike's show, with Robyn, filling in. That was nice. It was fun, and Robyn is from West Virginia, so yeah. I guess I picked up the accent. No, I'm only kidding. I have this horrible... I wish I had a better accent, really. Maybe an English accent, Irish accent. That would be nicer than what I'm dealing with here. All right, here it is. Yes, honey, you're very good. Republicans who backed Trump's election lies called out for false patriotism on July 4th. Let's look at this. Let me see. Look at Josh Hawley. Happy birthday today to the United States of America. Don't listen to the haters. This is the greatest nation in the history of the world. And our future's going to be incredible. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to, what, the fist pumpers? Go get them. Go overturn that democracy. Because when people of darker pigment vote, it doesn't count. Just throw all those votes out. And when Democrats vote, that certainly doesn't count. Get rid of them. See? Like Trump said during the pandemic when he was murdering Americans with impunity. He said, well, if you take out all the blue states... hardly any death. Death. Remember we would say, there's a lot of death. There's going to be death. God. How does anybody look up to that disgusting waste of human DNA parasite? I mean, I have more respect for parasites. You know what I mean? I don't even want to call him a leech because the leeches have some uses. But that's what he is. He's a friggin' leech. Sucking on America, sucking on everything that is decent. He's really the most appropriate standard bearer for the Republican Party. All right. Junior, you cannot lay on my hands. Here, I'm going to pull this chair over, and I'm going to put you in the chair. How's that? All right, sit. Stay there. Stay there. Okay. I'm proud. This is Ted Cruz, Kremlin Cruz. I'm proud to be an American, and I'm proud to be free. That's why I will continue to fight each day to protect our God-given liberties. Shut the F up.
I'm proud to be an American.
Oh, my God.
And I'm proud to be free.
They're so fake. And I'm proud to be free. Free. I wish I was free from you and your ilk. The most patriotic thing that Ted Cruz could ever do is F off to Cancun permanently. Please, do your patriotic duty and F off. What does a Ted Cruz bring to the situation? Do they ever add anything of value to Earth? No. I'm proud to be free. What, free to not give a crap about anybody else but yourself? Oh, here we go. Here's that fucking guy. Here we effing go. This guy across the street with the friggin' fireworks. All year round. Boom, boom, boom. He was at it all night. Oh, my God. You see what I'm saying? You're not doing anything. You're just making a boom boom. You're just being obnoxious. And in fact, we were talking about this on the air with Robyn earlier, and I was just saying it's just so it's so American, the way that people just like boom boom boom, and nobody cares. You know, that's the way it is now. You're not supposed to give a crap about anybody else but yourself. Just make a big boom boom, and regardless of how obnoxious it is, regardless of all the animals in the neighborhood are probably hiding under the table right now. This is what I got to deal with. Last night, all the cats running, crying, hiding. And then now he's off to the races again. Boom, boom, boom. It's not entertaining. It's not pretty. There's nothing to it. It's just a loud noise. I don't understand it. Just like I don't understand twiddlers, the affection for the con man. But this is what I'm saying. Boom, boom. I'm sure you heard it. Because it's friggin' loud. It went on till like 1 o'clock in the morning yesterday. So I can see the fireworks, the Macy's fireworks from my window. It's very pretty. That's one thing. You see the fireworks, boom, boom, boom. And then you got the idiot on the corner, boom, boom, making a boom, boom. God, so irritating. Here's Jim Jordan. Happy Independence Day. Let freedom ring. I love their this whole military fascination. People who wouldn't serve a day in their life for anybody else but themselves. This was a person who has no altruistic spirit at all. This is a guy who cried on the phone to one of his victim's brothers, saying that's how the victim's brother, the victim of pedophilia, when he was, for those who don't know, when Jim Jordan was some wrestling coach at a school, he did nothing about the rampant pedophilia going on by one of the coaches. So he knew what was happening and he turned a blind eye. And then when he got in trouble, he called up the brother of one of the victims and cried, literally cried. And the brother testified before Congress that he was weeping. Was it before Congress? Now it's all getting muddled in my mind. But he was weeping. He said that Jim Jordan literally wept and begged him not to say anything. Jim Jordan is scum and also a coward. Of course he is. Here's the GOP itself. Happy 245th birthday to America. And if this were 245 years ago, you know what side they'd be on, these conservatives. Because the conservatives were the loyalists back in the revolutionary times. They would be the ones pining for the king to trickle on them. There's no doubt. That's conservatism. Happy birthday, America. After the year we've had? Yeah. Oh, well, that's putting it mildly. That's sort of like the Rorschach test. What do you mean, after the year we've had? Because the Trumpanzees will read it. Yeah, after they stole that election. What a year. Bestill my heart. After the year we've had with an insurrection. Oh, God. Here we go. This Independence Day should hold special meaning despite the ill-fated efforts of the elites. We are free. We can never take our freedom for granted. I swear to God. You hear that shit? Shut the fuck up. Excuse me. It's just so obnoxious. Go away. Why does it have to be right outside my freaking window? God. Boom, boom, boom. I'm making a boom, boom. Go away. Jesus. But this goes on. It's not just, it's only because it's July 4th. I think he must go down to wherever, North Carolina, where they get all the fireworks. And then he has to come back up here and test them. So he's like, it's probably his thing, you know. Oh, I get the fireworks. Shut up. We got fireworks. Look, they're right there. Giant fireworks. That, oh God, there goes my light. Everything's falling apart. Including the country. Oh, that's what happens when you complain. Everything falls apart. Today we celebrate our great nation and our freedom. Thank you to those who have fought and are fighting. Yeah, we're still fighting. All the patriots are fighting you. You fascist goddamn lie. This is Clyde. This is the guy who said that the insurrection was a tourist visit. That if you hadn't seen, if you saw the videos, you would think it was a tourist visit. Just a typical tourist day at touring. I think the tour happened the day before when the collaborators gave the insurrectionists the floor plan for the Capitol and then pointed to all the hidden little alcoves and alleys and, you know, this is where you will find Nancy. I hope you and your family have a safe and happy Independence Day. Well, that you can't say that for Officer Sicknick. I wish he could have a safe and happy Independence Day. But his family's still grieving the loss, the senseless death. Freaking bastards. Oh, and I heard that Twitler, he mentioned, what's her name? Ashley Babbitt during his Nuremberg rally. Who killed Ashley Babbitt? This is their new thing. Well, it's not that new, but Ashley Babbitt is a traitor, was a traitor. She's a dupe. She's one of the dupes of the big liar. She fell for the big lie. So, who killed Ashley Babbitt? Twitler, you did. You did. That's who killed her. And this is the talking point that the Democrats need to adopt. When any of these filthy fascists start saying, I want to know who killed Ashley Babbitt, they need to say, you know who killed Ashley Babbitt? You did. You did, Jim Jordan. You did, Representative Clyde, and whatever the hell else. Who else is that one? Paul Gosar. Is that Gosar? Yeah. Gosar. Oh, that guy. That freaking freak. These people are, I mean, what happened? Where did the DNA go so horribly wrong? It's so baffling. Just the human species in itself. We are capable of so many great things. Right now there are satellites. We're exploring goddamn Pluto, other solar systems. And then we have right-wingers. And if they had their way, we would never have done anything. We would going to the moon? That would never have happened. We went to the moon because we during a time called the Great Prosperity, where there was actually a middle class, where the American the rich paid a top marginal tax rate of 90%. We had a tax, trade, and manufacturing policies that built the middle class, and people paid their taxes because we were working in the Great Prosperity, and there was so much left over that we went to the freaking moon as a country. Why? As JFK said, because it was doing so would prove that it would focus our energies in a positive direction, our human potential, not just around mobilizing for war. That would never happen today because they would get in the way. Who's going to pay for it? No, you can't raise my taxes. They don't want a great country, you see. They want an S-hole with a lot of gated communities for the 1%, and everybody else could just live out here and fight over the scraps. They want this country to be filled with slums. I mean, there are slums here in the United States, and this is all a sign of our decline. It's not okay. It's not anything to be proud of. It's not that we don't have the money either. That's what's so vile. We are the richest country on earth. So, let's rich in what way, though? Are we rich in the ways that really matter? No. We're the greediest, that's for sure. We're the selfishest. We're the biggest hypocrites going, that's for sure. Jesus Christ, there was a lot of dumbasses. Oh my God, who's this? Cynthia Loomis. After the Battle of Yorktown during the Revolutionary War, French officer Marquis de Lafayette said, "Humanity has won its battle. Liberty now has a country. As we celebrate our freedom today, remember those who sacrificed for our great nation." Well, like Officer Sicknick. You filthy fascist prick traitor. Tommy Tuberville. Ugh. These names, too. Let's give thanks for the opportunity to live in the freest and greatest country in the history of the world. That is so infantile. The freest and greatest country. What the hell does that mean? I'm so tired of this whole, this is the greatest country. Well, you can't fix perfect then, right? That's why they do that. We're the greatest, bestest, most greatest ever. You can't fix perfect. No, we're not the greatest. Other countries, when they hear that, you know what they say? They say it, they roll their eyes and they laugh. They use it as a statement of irony. We're not the greatest country. When you think you're the greatest country, there's no room for improvement. We haven't even actualized democracy in this country fully for everyone. Of course not. We have problems. We have people who die needlessly without health care. We have people who go bankrupt because they got sick. We have good schools and bad schools. What kind of shit is that? We have 1/3 of the American people who can't retire. What kind of crap is that? That's not the greatest country. Oh, it's great if you're rich. Oh, yeah. We are also the second most, how is it put? The second least informed country next to Italy. I mean, we didn't win that one. Least informed. And that's because of the propaganda. Supported treason on the 6th of... Who's this? Oh, and these are the people who commented. Just in regard, yeah. In response, I mean. Jesus, help us. Jesus, take the wheel. Legally and peacefully. Before I keep going, I want to say thank you. Thank you, Errol Thomas, for your super chat. When will Republic clowns ever gonna have enough sense to quit denying the insurrection that occurred on Wednesday, January 6th, 2021? Never. Never. And thank you, JD, for your super chat. in pounds. So we got it. We got pounds, we got euros, and we got dollars. Thank you all. I love that we're reaching all around the world. Those who live in other countries, they know we're trying. We get it. I envy you. I do. Because, damn, what's it like? I mean, what is it like when if you're living in, let's say, New Zealand or Norway, well, one of the happiest countries on earth, and you hear this bullshit where the United States, we're the greatest. I'm so happy to live in the freest and greatest country ever created. Guess what? If you can't go to the doctor when you're sick, you're not free. If you can't retire, you're not free. If you can't miss 2 paychecks without having to worry about whether you're going to lose your home or you need to go to a food bank, you're not free. You're a freaking dupe. You're a serf. You're a pawn. And you're being played, goddammit. Enough is enough is enough. Yes. That's another thing. I'm just thinking about that Zuckerberg. Oh my God. On 4th of July. If it wasn't enough. Having to endure these traitors, the tweets of the traitors. Then we get Zuckerberg. Oh my God. Did you see that tweet? Where is it? Ugh. Vile. On so many levels, it's hard to even describe why this filthy cheat. He stole somebody's idea. That's what happened. To make Facebook. We know all about it from that movie or whatever. He's a sociopath with dead eyes. Another dead-eyed sociopath billionaire that has no business being a billionaire. There's there's no reason for billionaires except to be like a cancer cell in the body politic. God. Flying through wherever I don't even know what that is. What is that called? Hydrofoil? Holding an American flag. It's like, why don't you just puke? Just puke up some stars or something and red, white, and blue. I wish an eagle would fly down and like legally and peacefully peck out his eyes. Legally and peacefully. I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding. Or do something. It's unreal. Oh, and then he's listening to what? West Virginia or whatever. Take me home. Yes, take me home, country road. Ugh. Take me home. Where are the aliens? God damn it. Take me home, aliens. Wouldn't that be nice if the aliens came down and took over finally? It's about time. I don't know, that whole Zuckerberg stunt was so, it just hits me right in my solar plexus. I don't even know. Where is it? It hits me in my soul. Like, I was like, did we need that? Was that necessary? What is this? Why? Do you see other countries doing things like that? It's so, I'm trying to really process this. Why? It betrays an immaturity. It also, the reason it's so offensive is because it substitutes, well, there's no substance to it. That's why. And it also represents, because he's doing it as well. It means it's just insulting. And says that it just it sort of like doubles down on the brokenness of the United States, the greed, the selfishness, the self-servingness, the attention seeking, the outward displays of douchebaggery that are somehow merged with patriotism. That's patriotism now. Sort of like the idiot blowing off the firecrackers. Like, don't worry about anybody else but yourself. And it's like we're living in an incessant Instagram meme. What are you flying that flag for? What are you doing? What are you doing with that? What are you trying to say? Oh, you're a billionaire? Is that it? I don't know. It's just so, it's just gross. This is greed, selfishness, so a thrill. Look at me. And then you put a flag on top of it? That's what you've done to the flag that so many people are in their cold, early graves because they gave their life for the government of the United States. And it cheapens it. It diminishes the whole notion of patriotism. Patriotism isn't it's not a display. It's like Jesus said, go pray in your closet. Patriotism is sort of like that too. Patriotism is an action, not a show. Don't. It's so much. Isn't it easier to look like a douchebag on your Instagram feed waving a flag than it is advocating for democracy and universal health care and policies that work for all? And how about the same sucker, son of a bee, who allowed the Russians to infiltrate and spread their psyops against the morons who we're now continuing to deal with? He's the one. So he could wave the flag? It's a little too late. You've already helped so much. Meaning, and by help, I mean, you've helped. Ironically, you haven't helped. You've helped the Russians spread their misinformation, and you helped put a con man into the Oval Office. So what are you doing with that flag? If you wanted to display your patriotism, Zuckerberg, you wouldn't have accepted those rubles for all those fake ads that they ran on your platform that you stole from somebody else. Fucking Jesus. He better not blow up another firecracker. Oh my God, help us. Please, somebody become a patron. We need more patrons. All right, let's go on. Here's the last thing. We're doing like a 2-hour show tonight. Because I swear to God, I want to do as many shows as possible whenever I can. But I can only do that with your help. And thank you guys for hanging out. And all your support. Everybody's... this is our show. This is it. We're in this together. So thank you all. Okay, because I wanted to talk about Trump. It's not whatever. Whatever. He's going to jail. I hope. That would be some sweet, sweet justice and schadenfreude. I would appreciate that. When we certainly earned it, having to endure the complete destruction of the American soul, and also having to endure the embarrassment of having such an unqualified con man, such a horrible person. And I say person, when I say person, describing him, I'm being generous. He's not a person. He's a monster. He's a parasite. He is really probably the biggest parasite that ever walked the face of the earth. And he's had a lot of competition in that department, but he certainly hands down has made a name for himself as the probably the most prolific con man parasite to ever squat in the Oval Office. That's for sure. But maybe the biggest con man that ever walked the earth. Well, no, I think that's debatable. That's debatable. There's other cons, and the stupidest. He is the stupidest. So he's not. That's the other thing that I don't understand. Is this how stupid they are? Is that's your hero? Somebody who doesn't know how to spell there or your or to. Someone who has had everything handed to him, but yet is still the most ignorant parasite on earth. That betrays that's a willful ignorance. He is willfully ignorant. It's sort of like you have the opportunity. You know how many people want to go to these schools that he boasts about, but maybe they can't afford it. They'd love to go to get that, just to get the education. Maybe people want to go because they actually want to improve themselves. They want to better themselves, but they can't go. But this prick has everything handed to him and he doesn't want to do the work. He doesn't want to read the books and do the learning that is required in order to get a degree. He just wants the degree. He wants the paper on the wall. Doesn't want to actually have earned it or learn anything from it. You know what I mean? So that's what makes him a willfully ignorant parasite. And they worship him? It's so... I mean, where do I live? Am I in Bizarro universe? Is this real? That's what I think all the time. Even just looking at... Well, when I saw that Zuckerberg thing, I was like, is this real life? But watching the Trumpanzees applaud the con man. I can't take it. I'm like, is this real? This is real. This actually happened. And it continues to happen. How? Is this real life? Wait a minute. I was trying to find... All right. Well, first of all, let's play... This is brilliant. Because Trump actually... He admitted it. He admitted it. He's a liar. But he admitted it. But you know why he admitted that he's a tax cheating con man? Because that's all he's ever known. He sucks at business. He's not a businessman. He's a con man. And he has no scruples. He knows no boundaries. And this is what he's been taught. This is what his father passed down to him. How to be a grifter. How to steal. How to steal from banks. How to steal from dupes. How to evade paying the fair share of your admission price to civilization. Like all Republicans who want all the They want all the benefits of civilization, but none of the responsibilities we have to each other. Trump, that's him. He's a parasite. He wants all the benefits of civilization, but none of... You didn't want to pay taxes? That makes him a traitor on top of being just a traitor in general. He's a traitor. Who wants to pay taxes? We all... But that's life, death and taxes. But we're supposedly paying taxes to have a functioning government and society. Taxes are the admission price to a civilized society. They pay for the roads. They pay for the police. They pay for the fire department, the sanitation department, the water you drink, the food you eat that's inspected, the standards, the certain standards of a civilized functioning society. And then if there are problems, you go to the courts, all of these things to keep the society going, to make your life somewhat less brutal. You don't have to go out in the morning and dig a well or go hunting. You don't have to boil your water or whatever, or build your own hovel out of cow dung. I wish that Trump had to do that, but he would never. But here's Trump at his Nuremberg rally, admitting that he's a con
They go
man.
after good, hard-working people for not paying taxes on a company car. Company car.
Oh, boo.
You didn't pay tax on the car or a company apartment. You used an apartment because you need an apartment because you have to travel too far where your house.
Oh, well, you got to travel, so why pay taxes? It's not that he's cheating on taxes for a company car. Cheating is the business model. Oh, I love him. His whole shtick with not just the hands, but when he's trying to downplay his crimes. Oh, you didn't. You took money from a Russian oligarch. Oh, boo boo. Oh, you didn't pay taxes. Oh, this is a freaking president, a so-called president. Could you imagine? You want to talk about white privilege again? White Republican privilege? Let's flip it again. Let's play the Obama game. What if that was Obama? Oh yeah, I didn't pay taxes. Whoa. So what? So that would what would they do on Fox News? Oh, you didn't pay taxes on a company car. That's not it, bubby.
They go after good, hard-working people.
No, they're going after you. They're not going after good, hard-working people. They go after you. You're not good or hard-working. You're the laziest parasite on the planet. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Just lower this a little bit.
Taxes on a company car.
Company car, that's it.
You didn't pay tax on the car or a company apartment. You used an apartment because you need an apartment.
Oh, you need an apartment.
Because you have to travel too far where your house is.
You gotta travel. Who wants
didn't
to
pay
travel?
Tax. Or education for your grandchildren.
And you didn't pay tax. You're a cheater. You're a freaking cheater, because if you don't pay taxes, we gotta pick up your tab, you friggin' taker. Remember all the makers and takers? This is a taker of epic proportions. A parasite. Oh, a company car. You needed an apartment. Yeah. You just need it. How dare the government? ask me to pay my fair share of the admission price to civilization. I'm here. I'm like the salt of the earth. I'm the one. You should pay me. And guess what we do? He received a subsidy, just like Hillary Clinton said. We only know his tax filings because he had to release them for certain years because he was trying to get a casino license because he's a grifter. And in those admissions, he paid no federal taxes at all. And then he said, well, that makes me smart. And still, the filthy bastards voted for him, the traitors, the racists. That's what it's about. It always comes down to racism. In all fascist takeovers, it always comes down to racism. You better believe it.
I don't even know. Do you have to? But does anybody know the answer to that stuff?
Wait.
Because you have to travel too far where your house says you didn't pay tax. Or education for your grandchildren. I don't even know. Do you have to? But does anybody know the answer to that stuff? Okay.
I thought he was a great businessman.
But they indict people for that. Think of how unfair it is. Never before has New York City and their prosecutors, or perhaps any prosecutors, criminally charged a company or a person for fringe benefits.
That's
fringe benefits. Murder's okay. Human trafficking, no problem. But fringe benefits, you can't do that.
Fringe benefits. It's not fringe benefits at all. It's a pattern, a decades-long systemic pattern of fraud. It's not fringe benefits, but that's okay. What do we expect from the con man? Well, the other thing that's so funny is that he says, does anybody know? What do you mean? You got to pay tax? So what? You didn't pay tax on a company car. So what? Yeah, so what? Now, imagine it was Obama. You didn't pay tax. So what? I didn't pay tax on a company car. Or Malia's education, or whatever, a grandson's education. No, it's not even about that. There's no altruism here. This is a systemic pattern of fraud. They had 2 sets of books, these con artists, because they know that they're fraudulent, they're con artists, and they used these so-called fringe benefits in lieu of salary. And one of the woman, what's her name, the Weisselberg ex-daughter-in-law, who's coming out and working with the government, saying that the whole thing was so they could avoid paying taxes. So on the books, her husband's salary was like $125,000, but he was taking in whatever he was taking. It was a lot more than that, millions, and all in these grifting manners. And so when they got divorced, of course, it always works out in favor of the con artist. She trying to get him to pay alimony for whatever. I think he had 4 kids with her, but yet on the books, it's his salary is showing as he's earning $125,000 a year, and it's a lot more than that. So it's all about avoiding taxes, and well, it's just fraud, and you cannot do that. You can't devise schemes to avoid paying taxes, because the other thing is that they have seen this before. It's not like Trump is so clever that he's the first one to come up with it. This is a scam. They know the scam. They know the signs of the scam. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. You better believe that is only a small slice of what they've uncovered in this fraudulent operation. The thing is, he's not a successful businessman. We know that. He's not a billionaire. There's no doubt in my mind he is not a billionaire. He owes money. What billionaire owes millions of dollars to Russian oligarchs? What billionaire? What billionaire? You pay him off. You got billions? Pay him off. What are you doing borrowing money from Russian oligarchs? And of course, Trump's like, what, does anybody know? He's, do you remember when he bragged that he knows taxes better than the greatest CPA? Just like he knew better than the generals, and he knows better than the legislators. He knows better. Back in 2017, he boasted. Here's from an article from a website called Accounting Today. And Michael Cohn writes, President Trump boasted about his tax knowledge during an impromptu interview with the New York Times, saying that he knows taxes better than the greatest CPA. But he didn't know that these schemes, keeping two sets of books, that's a no-no? Trump attributed, where is it? He said, according to excerpts, he said he knows more about the big bills for taxes and health care than any other president that's ever been in office. God, save us all from these scummy con artists. Save this country from these filthy con artists and all of their enablers. And I'm also talking about the damn enablers on the Democratic Party side. The ones who don't want to see what's right in front of their freaking faces. Save us from these freaking bastards. Oh my God! I know more than the CPAs. I know more than anybody. Like nobody's ever seen. So of course, I found this funny. Well, you saw Donald Trump Jr. They're all of them. They fanned out over all their propaganda outlets to cover their own asses, or try to at least get their filthy fascists enabling followers on side. And where is holy shit, did I have I'm trying to find Eric. Did I not grab this one? Hold on a second. This is what happens when, it is Tarabuster. What are you going to do? In the meantime, thank you, M. David Sorabi, for your super chat. And thank you, Mark C., for your super chat. Always a pleasure to support progressive media. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Mark. We're in this together. This is our show, that's for sure. Come on. I thought, I spend all this time during the day grabbing videos, and then I do not save them. Grabbing videos so we can play them on the show. Talk about... Oh, wait. I have it here. I just didn't export it. Is that what I did? Yeah, that's what happened. Eric Trump. Let's see if I can export it quickly. It's just easier when you export it than playing it off the screen. I know. Hold on a sec. It's exporting now. Talk amongst yourself. Well, it's always a good time to go over to patreon.com/Tara Devlin to keep the show going and growing. Because this is the real liberal media. Otherwise, I don't know, man. We don't stand a chance. We don't stand a chance. Boom, boom, ba-dum, bum, bum. Now I just have to find it. Here it is. Okay. So many things to do when you're doing a show. on your own.
Crime is rampant. People are leaving the city in record numbers. It's dirty. It's disgusting. New York is no longer what it is, and they have an entire district attorney office and attorney general's office that's focused on $3.5 million to take down a political opponent. I mean, this is what they do. This is New York State for you. This is worse than a banana republic. It's truly horrible. It's truly horrible. And Raymond, you know this better than anybody. They're afraid that my father is going to run in 2024, and they're afraid that he's going to win. So they don't look at corrupt Hunter Biden. They don't look at the fact that he's taking money from China and the Ukraine and other countries, and he's selling his finger paintings for
It's the whataboutism. They don't look at Hunter Biden. If they would, if there's something there. But here, wait, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
And the Ukraine and other countries, and he's selling his finger paintings for $500,000 to undisclosed people. No, they don't care about any of that. They care about going after innocent, great human beings. Alan Weisselberg is one of them, and taking out Donald Trump and going after a political opponent.
Eric,
crime is rampant.
Crime is rampant. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I'm sure on Fox News and all of the fascist cesspools, Hunter Biden is a regular foil, and they constantly make shit up about him, and talking about his finger paintings. Apparently, Hunter Biden paints, and he's selling paintings or whatever. I don't care. That's not illegal, you freaks. And if he sells a painting, he has to pay taxes on it. But the fact is, so I looked it up. What are they talking about? Hunter Biden and finger painting. And this is great. I have to play this video. Larry Kudlow went on. Well, he went on about Hunter, but you have to watch this. It's great.
Hey, art. True art should be beautiful art, something that can be enjoyed, something that calms the spirit, replenishes the soul, lifts us toward our better angels. You see this picture? This is by the president's son. There it is, right up there. This is not true art. This is crap. It's the worst kind of abstract art. It is fraudulent art. It is scam art. It is fake art. It is some kind of bizarre, anti-establishment, left-wing garbage. And Hunter Biden,
really?
through his agent,
all of that? You see that in that painting? This is not art. This is crap. This should not be. This should never have existed. This should never have been born. If this ain't Nazi, I don't know what is. This is such a Nazi move. This is art. This isn't. Who the hell are you? This is art. Art should make me, because when he says art should make you feel something, he's talking about himself. Art should make me feel something. I shouldn't have to feel any other way that I don't want to feel, because that's the Republicon snowflake syndrome. This is not art. This is well, if somebody wants to pay money for that, isn't that their business? Isn't that the freedom? Right, Junior. But here.
It's the worst kind of abstract art. It is fraudulent art. It is scam art. It is fake art.
Scam art!
It is some kind of bizarre, anti-establishment,
not that
left-wing
bizarre.
garbage. And Hunter Biden,
garbage?
through
Okay.
his agent, a guy
To
named
each his
Georges
own.
Berger, according to the New York Post, an ex-con with links to China. They're trying
Oh,
to sell this
China.
stuff for
Always China with these freaks. Not that they don't have all kinds of tentacles in China. My God. Russia, China. It's such a Nazi thing right there, too. Always accuse your opponent of the very same thing for which you are guilty. They got China up the wazoo, these traitors. They might have to flee to China before we're done with them. Traitors, bunch of damn traitors. Why don't you take them all and go to China? All the traitors. Then maybe they could carve you off a piece of China, and you can all have your Liberland too. New liberal land, you can call it. No taxes, no social safety net, no roads. Just pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Make your own roads. Dig your own wells. Hunt and inspect your own food. Grow your own food. Do, barter. Chickens, you got to go to the doctor. Remember how the Republicans were like, oh, well, you used to take chickens to the doctor. You could do that again. Do it. Get out. Go Galt already. This is not art. It goes on.
$100,000 a painting.
If that's what somebody wants to spend, that's on them.
This is beautiful, classical art, what is called natural realism. It's real art. It's so good that even our friends of the liberal persuasion love to look at this conservative, traditional, classical art.
Is this real life?
Who painted this picture? Well, my saintly wife, Judith Pond Kudlow.
What's with the way you're talking?
Very successful. In
Very
fact,
successful.
She is one of the leaders of the current movement to go back towards classical art.
Oh, look at that art.
As I say,
of course it's art. It's a flag. Oh, my God. This is so Nazi. That's so not. Nazi is now an adjective. That's so not. It is Nazi. That's what Nazis did. They defined what was art. It had to be classical. Had to elevate whatever Nazi ideology. This is not art. This is crap. This is art. Here, let's start. I'll go back, and I'll try not to. I'll try not. Somebody. Wait. Oh, that was the cat. I thought something fell. It was the cat.
They're trying to sell this stuff for $500,000 a painting. Okay?
Okay.
Now, you see that picture?
Yes.
This is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Classical art. What is called natural realism.
Thank you for telling me.
It's real art. It's so good that even our friends of the liberal persuasion love to look at this conservative, traditional, classical art. Who painted this picture?
I like to look at all kinds of art.
My saintly wife, Judith Pond Kudlow. Highly respected. Very successful. In fact, she is one of the leaders of the current movement to go back towards classical art. As I say, natural realism. It is real art. Not only is she a good painter, but she runs a school where she teaches and mentors, and she, of course, is my wife. I make no bones about it.
You make no bones about that she's
but I will
your
say
wife?
This. Any objective critic will know that this is beautiful art. And any objective critic will know
you're very
that the
objective.
stuff Hunter Biden is selling is crap. Okay? So let's have an art fest discussion. Joining us now, Katie Pavlich, editor of TheTownHall.com.
This is really happening. I couldn't believe this. I thought, is this a Saturday Night Live skit? This is art. This is crap. Everyone knows this is good art. This is my sainted wife. Even the liberals like this art. What is happening? Somebody please make it stop. Wait, I'm sorry. I hit the button.
Selling is crap. Okay?
Okay.
So let's have an art fest discussion. Joining us now, Katie Pavlich, editor of TheTownHall.com and Fox News contributor, and Guy Benson, Fox News contributor and host of the Guy Benson Show.
What do you think? Is this art?
Okay, kids.
Is this crap?
I just got to say it. That's my view. His stuff is crap. Look, it's not just my Judy's art.
Could you imagine?
She's part of a beautiful school of beautiful.
If you're Hunter Biden, come on, man. You can't. You're trying to live. Just live. You can't even paint without these freaks having a 10-minute jam on Fox friggin' Business about how your art sucks. When the irony is, they suck. Not just in art. They suck at life. They suck at human. Oh my God.
Art should be enjoyed. But I just happen to choose her
all
because
subjective, you freaks. What about freedom? What do you mean art? You want to make art the way you want to make me feel. That's not art. If that's what you like, good. Go for it. No one's stopping you. This is the same thing. Like the Republicans are always whining about how everything's being shoved down their throats, but they're shoving everything down our throats. Nobody's going in to Larry Kudlow's house and saying, you can't have art like this. This is classical art. We don't like this art. We want modern art. We want abstract art. Nobody cares. You do your classical art. No one cares. Shut your filthy, privileged mouth and leave people alone. If somebody wants to buy Hunter Biden's art for $100,000, then that's their freedom. You know, all of that flag that your beautiful sainted wife drew and painted. Freedom. That's what it represents. Even Hunter Biden can paint a picture that you don't like, and we don't have censors here. This isn't Nazi Germany yet.
Mm-hmm. I think that blowing paint through a straw onto a canvas or piece of paper in your pool house is probably the lowest bar in terms of what counts as art these days, and it's certainly not COVID friendly. So I don't know who he's selling these things to, but they're certainly not buying them because they're beautiful or because they're made in a way that can be respected. They're obviously buying these things for an exorbitant amount of money because he's Biden, and this is a pattern he has had throughout the course of
why are dumbasses asking Donald Trump Jr. to send Sweet 16 greetings to their daughters? Because he's a filthy, disgusting member of the waste of human DNA Trump clan.
As an adult, using the Biden family name to make a lot of money in exchange for access to his
how
father.
Could you ever
so the anonymous
use
portion of
your
this,
family name?
The buyers anonymous, we don't know who they are, is a question for the ethics of the administration. Now, Hunter Biden doesn't work directly.
Really? Why? He's not a member of the administration. It's not like Ivanka Trump getting trademarks so she could sell her tacky knockoff crap shoes, make a sweatshop in China. I mean, that's a little different. It's sort of like it's not the same because he's not working. He doesn't work for the government, you pricks. He's a private citizen. It has nothing to do with the government. I mean, you see these freaking bastards? Like, it's not like Jared Kushner's family going over to China and selling visas to Chinese business people. That's what they did. So, it's not like that, right? What's worse, Hunter Biden painting something you don't appreciate and getting paid for it, or Jared Kushner selling visas to Chinese business people for of course, for a price? Which is this moral? Is this equivalent? Well, it's a car. It's a car. I didn't pay taxes on a car. What do you want? Fucking people. Oh, Jesus.
It's anonymous. We don't know who they are.
I almost hit the finish
button. It's a question for the ethics of the administration. Now, Hunter Biden doesn't work directly for them, but given the history of selling the Biden name for access for meetings or access to the former vice president when he was not in the Oval Office, there are big questions here about what the motivation is behind the buyers of this, as you would say, crap art.
Yeah. What motive? I mean, look in your own freaking eyes before you take what's that thing? Take the damn 2x4 out of your eye before you complain about the splinter.
Guy, the only way you could sell this crap, I mean, not for $500,000, for $1.50. The only way you could sell it for $1.50, it's such garbage,
$1.50
is because you're your father's son, and your father happens to be the president. And so Katie is right, and there's ethics issues here, which seem to dog Hunter Biden through no matter what he does. I mean, look at this stuff. There's some more of it on the air. $1.50 on a good day, $1.75, guy. But this is, a political story as well as an art story, is it not?
What if I told you that these were paintings by Eric Trump? I would love to do that with this prick.
Well, it's mostly a political story because with art, you know this, Larry, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Some people prefer stuff that others would say is crap. I'm not going to wade into the art battle here. I am woefully unqualified for that. But I will say, if those paintings
Did you see
were created...
Sorry.
Oh,
I have no
not
comment,
a
Larry, on
flag.
the art itself. I do have a comment, which is if his name were Hunter Smith and he put this out there for sale, if he got $50 for it, he'd be lucky.
$500,000
confidential.
Business.
It's like, hey, his last name is Biden. You can give him $500,000. Don't worry, as the buyer, it's fully confidential. Wink. I wonder what people might be trying to purchase with that $500,000. I would say that these paintings are worth $500,000, the same way that Hunter Biden was qualified enough in energy policy to make $83,000 a month from Burisma in Ukraine, right? It's clearly about one thing and not about the actual substance. And Larry, the one thing, this is the way my brain works. When I saw this story, I thought at some point it dawned on me, when do you think the Clintons realized that they couldn't, if they had really wanted to, they didn't have to go through this whole rigmarole of setting up a foundation and all of this charity stuff and all the fundraising. They could have had Hillary with finger paints, sold it confidentiality, on a confidential basis for millions of dollars, and that's how they could have trafficked in this sort of grift that they were accused of. This clearly seems like it is a potential grift, and even Obama's former ethics chief said,
see a grift.
This seems a little fishy.
Katie,
look
just
at
10
yourself.
seconds left. Do you think our friend Guy, we love Guy
Larry.
Benson. Katie, doesn't Guy need some help in art appreciation? Seriously. Don't we need a little internal class here?
I think he's seeing how enraged you are, Larry, that he doesn't want to make you more angry by
China. They're trying to sell this stuff for $500,000 a painting. Okay? Now, you see that picture? This is beautiful. Classical art. What is called natural realism. It's real art. It's so good that even our friends of the liberal persuasion love to look at this conservative, traditional, classical art. Who painted this picture? Well, my saintly wife, Judith Pond Kudlow. Highly respected, very successful. In fact, she is one of the leaders of the current movement to go back towards classical art.
Oh, shut up. And this is who they are. Fascism. In every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism. Prove me wrong. Everywhere you look, there they are. Proving me correct. That they are unfit. That they not only hate America, they're confused by America. That whole segment. You don't have to like his art. Yeah, that's your right. That's your American birthright. But what the hell? What is wrong with you people? You're so petty. And talk about corruption. And, no one would buy it unless it was Hunter Biden, unless he had his last name. Are you guys... Are you kidding me? Honestly, everywhere you look in Republican land, you see poster children for nepotism. Nepotism. Oh my God. It's just so funny how Donald Trump Jr. became executive vice president of the Trump organization. Do you think he submitted a resume and went through an interview process and had his background questioned? And they're so successful over there. at the Trump org that Donald Trump Jr. has to do friggin' well wishes on Cameo, which is unbelievable. You know that Donald Trump Jr., where is it? Cameo. He, what do you call it? He was basically mocked mercilessly. And we did it here, too. We played some of his Cameo videos. Now, just an aside. That's the screen. That's us right there. Wait a minute. He added... This is recent. Because he got vilified and mocked for being such a loser who has to go on Cameo and do Sweet 16s, that he added this. Where is it? Book now.
Guys, Donald Trump Jr. here, really excited about being on Cameo. Look forward to communicating with you guys, and also really look forward to helping my friend, Benghazi survivor Mark Geist, raise some money for his incredible charity, the Shadow Warriors Project, getting canines in the hands of vets that need them. Really look forward to doing all of that and speaking to you guys soon. It's good to be here.
So he makes it a fake charity again. He's been, they've already been, what was it? They had been sanctioned or whatever they do for running a fake charity. The Trump, just the whole Trump goddamn, the whole thing is a scam. We know. Everything they do is a scam. The Trump charity is a scam. It's all a way of grifting and siphoning money from dupes. The whole thing is a scam. We know this. Oh my God. It never ends, though. It really doesn't end. The last thing I wanted to say before we part ways for the evening, just wanted to read this from it's from, hold on, Tara Jr. Please, Tara Jr. He's just sitting there. He's getting ready to lay across the keyboard and my hands. I can tell. From a website called justsecurity.org. From Daniel Shaviro, excuse me. Yes, the Weisselberg indictment is not a fringe benefit case. Okay, just to explain, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he writes, this is no mere fringe benefit case. This is a straight-out fraud case, claiming that the defendants kept double books, phony ones to show the tax authorities, and accurate ones to be hidden from view. The question of whether a given company, apartment, or car might, in theory, with appropriate supporting facts, have been an excludable fringe benefit turns out to be almost completely irrelevant. A better analogy to what is being charged here is the following. Suppose that your employer pays you monthly through automatically depositing paychecks that end up being included on your annual W-2. But suppose that each month you could stop by the front office, could request an envelope full of cash and unmarked bills, and have your W-2 reduced accordingly. So your true income would be the same as if you hadn't stopped by, but you'd be reporting less salary. If your employer kept careful records of all the cash it gave you, and it also still deducted it all, we would basically have this case. That is far different from simple failure to pay taxes on fringe benefits, which is now the indictment which is how the indictment has been wildly misunderstood, thanks, of course, to Trump and Trump's lawyers laying the groundwork before the public. It's not just a state and local income tax fraud case. It's also, via New York state fraud, conspiracy, and grand larceny statutes, a federal income tax fraud case. And how did we get Al Capone? The indictment's last three and longest counts in detail a scheme to defraud the federal IRS, including through conspiracy, with multiple overt acts, and those are in quotes because they appear in the indictment, and the commission of grand larceny. In other words, just as the Manhattan DA could indict someone for committing such crimes within its jurisdiction, unlike the against the likes of you and me. Wait, hold on. I'm holding on. The music. Bum ba bum ba bum bum ba bum bum bum. Okay, just want to lower that a little bit. Okay, where was that? Okay. Hold on. Federal, blah, 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 blah. Federal income tax fraud case. The indictment's first 3 and longest counts detail a scheme to defraud the Federal Internal Revenue Service, including through a conspiracy with multiple overt acts and the commission of grand larceny. In other words, just as the Manhattan DA could indict someone for committing such crimes within its jurisdiction against the likes of you or me, so here it has identified the IRS as the main victim of the defendant's actions. Indeed, the word federal appears 30 times in the Manhattan DA's 24-page charging document. Given the facts alleged, it is hard to fathom that the IRS, if it agrees that those facts are true, would not promptly indict the defendants for federal income tax fraud. Failing to bring charges would amount to saying that overt and deliberate tax cheating of the most brazen kind need not be addressed criminally. If a private individual rather than the Manhattan DA had somehow garnered all this information and reported it to the IRS, he or she would be in a great position to claim a whistleblower award. And while federal authorities often refrain from piling on by bringing their own charges when state authorities are already prosecuting a case, the indictment here makes explicit that the fraud was, in the main, directed against the federal government itself. If the Manhattan DA can prove the facts asserted, this is not a trivial case, or one that ordinarily would not be brought, or one that bespeaks political bias, or is just about pressuring a witness whom the DA wants to turn. It is unimaginable to me that any prosecutor would not bring these or similar charges under the asserted facts. If the case is proven, the DA will not have been criminalizing political disagreement, as critics complain. Rather, it will have been criminalizing crime. And not a moment too soon from a broader enforcement standpoint. Given widespread concerns about plunging enforcement, not just against income tax fraud, but against white-collar crime more generally. So, I'm just scanning. I can't read the whole thing. It's a long article. I'll put it in the Discord community under articles from the show. The true economic deal alleged by this indictment, Weisselberg had a fixed economic deal with the Trump Corporation. He was to be paid a fixed amount, which for the years 2011 to 2018 equaled $940,000 annually, comprised of $540,000 denominated as a base salary and $400,000 denominated at the end of as a end of year bonus. Nothing else in the employment agreement and arrangement between the parties that indicates that the indictment discusses would change this fixed bottom line. Any supposed fringe benefit, and we will see the term really does not fit here, that the Trump organization, through any of its entities furnished to Weisselberg, would be treated as compensation in the company's records. And the charge against his $940,000 receipt. Thus, for example, suppose the organization paid him $50,000 in cash, either directly or through payment to a third party, including other Trump entities, of consumer benefits to him. In this case, all else equal, Weisselberg would get. Okay, this is getting confusing for me. It's just too many words and too many numbers, and I'm probably not doing it justice, but I'll finish the paragraph. But $890,000 rather than $940,000, with that lower amount being treated as compensation. we know the whole grift is, we explained it. The article explained it, that they not only they're keeping double books because they know they're scamming, but they are lowering the outward or the reported salary by paying him under the table with the so-called fringe benefits, and they're not fringe benefits. It's a scheme. It's an outright fraud scheme. If they were, I mean, that's part of, they're not stupid. The people who work for the IRS, they're people. They are charged with enforcing, that people pay their fair share. They've seen every fraud in the book. And this is one that's pretty old. They know this. And the article goes on that not only they were keeping double books, they were also committing additional overt acts to conceal the fraud. So they knew that they were committing fraudulent acts. So it says, even in the company's own ledgers, as distinct from those that were disclosed. So in the phony books, so they showed the tax authorities, here's my phony books, here's the real books. Weisselberg took steps to conceal his receipts of the receipt of these benefits. Thus, he directed a staff member in the accounting department to remove the notations saying, per Alan Weisselberg, from the entries in the Donald J. Trump detailed general ledger relating to tuition payments paid on Weisselberg's behalf to his family member's private school. And this is in it's called Second Count Overt Act number 10. A large number of items that the company funded and then subtracted from the Weisselberg reported compensation had no relationship whatsoever to the sort of items that, under appropriate circumstances, might potentially constitute tax-free employee fringe benefits. Yeah. So it says, it is true that the items for which the company, but actually Weisselberg himself indirectly paid and then secretively excluded from the reported income included rent for a Manhattan apartment, a Mercedes-Benz, and under appropriate factual and legal circumstances, the value of lodging that one uses for the convenience of an employer, and the value of a company car, although the indictment states that this was a personal car, can potentially be excluded from taxable income, but the following items that the company paid for on Weisselberg's behalf do not fit the profile of a fringe benefit. And this includes the private tuition, a Mercedes-Benz automobile that was a personal car for Weisselberg's wife. This is first count number 10. Then there's first count number 11, unreported cash that Weisselberg could use to pay holiday gratuities. To treat cash as a fringe benefit would imply that the term covers all employee compensation. You can't do that. You can't say to the government, this is someone, here's your salary, I'm paying this person this salary, but here's half in cash. That's just the fringe benefit. This is fraud. You can't do that. Personal expenses for other homes and an apartment maintained by his children. So here's a home for your children. Included items such as new beds, flat screen television, carpeting, furniture for a home in Florida, rent-free lodgings to his family members. Jesus Christ. So one of the counts says fraudulent mischaracterization of employee compensation supported by deceptive bookkeeping. You're a crook. That's it. You're a damn crook. And then evasion of New York City income tax by falsely denying local resident status. The thing is, you have, if you live in New York City itself, you pay city taxes. So he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to pay the price of admission to a civilized city. That's for you, me, and anybody else who lives here. They, like Leona Helmsley. Taxes, only little people pay taxes. So it wraps up. What is Donald Trump's role in all this? The indictment notes that tuition expenses for Weisselberg's family members were paid by personal checks drawn on the account of and signed by Donald J. Trump. It also states that in 2005, the Trump Corporation, acting through its president, entered into New York City apartment lease on Weisselberg's behalf, listed as an overt act in the furtherance of a claimed conspiracy to evade federal income tax. And this is in the second count, overt act number 1. Otherwise, however, there is little direct discussion of Trump himself or what he did or knew personally in relation to the facts of the indictment, except he signed the checks, or there's a signature on the accounts. If Trump is subsequently indicted by the DA in connection with the crimes alleged here or anything else, his conviction would require proof in court beyond a reasonable doubt. Ugh, don't tell me he's going to slither out again. Beyond a reasonable doubt of his requisite criminal actions and intent. In the courtroom of public discussion and debate, however, any claim that the crimes asserted in the indictment could have occurred without his participation and knowledge may be viewed by many as begging credulity. All right. God. And guys, can you believe it? It never ends. Will the long arm of the law finally catch up to the con man? I hope so. All right, listen up. Listen. You are the reason I get out of bed in the morning. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for keeping me somewhat sane and keep going. I don't know. I got to keep going and growing. Thank you. I want to thank again all of the people who hung out in the chat room tonight at youtube.com/C for channel /Tarabuster. And of course, the super chatters, Richard W. and Jim, of course, and Slow Tree and Errol and JD. Hey, you. What are you doing? And M. David, and Mark C. What's the matter with you, weirdo? Why are you acting like that? Why are you being bratty? So, all right, listen. Become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin if you can. Otherwise, give the show a good review, share the show with your friends, help the show keep going and growing. And we will win. We need the liberal media to keep, to counteract all the lies. You see what we're up against. So become a patron. Hopefully, we'll see what happens tomorrow. If we get a patron, let's do a show. All right. Otherwise, we might do a show. I will try. I will try. Stop this madness, Junior. I just want to show you what I'm dealing with right now. Look at this. Look at this little brat. All right? What are you doing? He's sitting on the keyboard now. What are you doing, you little monster? Mwah. Why are you being a monster? Look at this baby, everybody. Ow, that hurt. Oh, you're being mean. Will you be nice to me for once? No, he's a good boy. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's going to the vet tomorrow. He's got like a rash under his chin. So maybe he's feeling... Hey, that's the remote. Maybe he's feeling crabby. Stop that, you monster. Don't look at it. Don't even look at it. Can't help it. There's a handle on the remote, and it just drives him insane. Don't look at it. Pretend it doesn't exist. Oh, brother. Look at this cat, though. Isn't he cute? Look at the camera, Junior. You're a good boy. All right, my friends. My friends. Shadow Star Ace Comet does the same thing. Oh, little comet. So cute. Hope Comet is feeling better. We love Comet. We love it. We love all animals, right, honey? Except you eat animals. Junior eats animals. He has to. That's how he was made. All right, guys. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. This is unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, and democracy. And we are the real patriots. Let's not forget it, and never, ever let them forget it, unapologetically. There's so much more to talk about, so hopefully we'll get a patron. We need a lot more patrons if we're going to have a daily show at a set time, but what are you going to do? In the meantime, remember, we're on the right... I said that already. We're on the right side of history, and we will win. We stick together. We win. My name is Tara Devlin, and this is Tara Jr. And I will see you all very soon. That's right.